2019 National Space Symposium comes to a close, I decided to drive over here to get a shot of this mountain behind us, Pikes Peak. This is kind of symbolic to our research into high altitude flight. You see, the Air Force Research Laboratory and its predecessors, we're the ones who designed the turbocharger for piston-driven engines to be able to perform at high altitudes. And we tested the engine on that mountain right there at Pikes Peak. Hooked it up to a Liberty engine and was able to get that thing to run at full horsepower at high altitude, which had never been able to be done before. So this is kind of that mountain behind us. It's kind of symbolic of AFRL's first reach into the altitudes and into space, so to speak. And we're at the National Space Symposium, and we're talking about new launch vehicles. We're talking about space situational awareness. We're talking about all these wonderful things. We're talking about flying back to the moon. People there are very passionate about space vehicles and satellites and space situational awareness. We're talking missile defense. And I walked around and I was talking to our industry partners, and several of them are working on new rocket engines. And when I mentioned it to the folks from Edwards Air Force Base, I was reminded that a lot of the research and development that went into those rocket engines, and even the new rocket engines, can trace their lineage all the way back to work done in the 50s and 60s up at the rocket labs at Edwards Air Force Base. We're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing, and the Saturn V's F1 engine was tested at Edwards Air Force Base. As this week comes to a close, it's pretty awesome as a representative of the Air Force Research Lab to walk around and to talk to people and realize the impact that the research that we do has on the entire industry. It's super exciting, and to be a member of this team, looking forward into the future as to what the United States is going to be doing in space, whether it's flying to the moon or flying to Mars, and knowing that AFRL has had a major impact in that. It's exciting. Well, hey, I hope you've enjoyed these videos that I've made here at the National Space Symposium. This week has been a blast. I've had a lot of fun putting these together, talking to people, listening to people's stories, and hopefully we'll be back next year and we'll be able to make some more of these videos. So until then, be sure to follow our webpage, be sure to follow our Facebook feeds, all of our social media feeds. Just keep up with the Air Force Research Laboratory and everything that we are doing, to further the United States' mission in space.